Elections should never simply be about an exchange of rhetoric, the laying out of policy positions, or the cacophony of the campaign. They should also be an investigation and a decision about our ambitions as a nation, who we are, where we're going. And for me, Europe is an important litmus test. I believe passionately that leaving Europe would leave Britain diminished in the world, do significant damage to our economy, and less obviously, but just as important to our future, would go against the very qualities that mark us out still as a great global nation. It would be a momentous decision. And should the Conservatives be re-elected on May the 7th, it is one which we will be called upon to make. If they win the election, they are committed to holding a referendum to debate whether Britain remains in the European Union. It will be held within 2 years. It will follow an attempt by the government to renegotiate the terms of Britain's membership. The referendum will be the first time since we joined Europe, after years of trying unsuccessfully to do so, the first time we put exit on the agenda. Now, there are several oddities about the way this has come to pass, frankly. In the leaders' debate last week, Europe featured little, and where it did, mainly as a route into the question of immigration. The truth is that the overwhelming majority of people in Britain will not decide their vote on the issue of Europe. Yet the vocal minority, for whom this is their raison d'etre, has already won this huge concession from the governing party. Nationalism is a powerful sentiment. Let that genie out of the bottle, and it's a Herculean task to put it back in. And reason alone struggles. The referendum on Europe carries with it exactly the same risks. For that reason, should the Conservatives win, one other thing will be certain. The Prime Minister will be spending more energy, will have more sleepless nights about it, be more focused on it than literally any other single issue. He knows the vastness of the decision. He knows the penalty of failure. He knows exit will define his legacy. And following the Scottish referendum, he knows one other thing: the perilous fragility of public support for the sensible choice. It is a huge distraction for the country, but it will also be a huge distraction for the Prime Minister. It will take precedence over the NHS, education, law and order, the lot. And you know the oddest thing of all about having this referendum? The Prime Minister doesn't really believe that we should leave Europe. Not even the Europe as it is today. This was a concession to party, a maneuver to access some of the UKIP vote, a sop to the rampant anti-European feeling of parts of the media. But this issue, touching as it does the country's future, it's too important to be treated like this. It is greatly to Ed Miliband's credit that he resolutely refused to make that trade, right? He faced down calls to follow the Tory concession from parts of the media, many inside our party. And in doing so, he showed real leadership. He showed that he would put the interests of the country first, and he showed that on this, as on other issues, he's his own man with his own convictions and determined to follow them even when they go against the tide, and I respect that. The Tory campaign, I hear talks of chaos should Labour win. Think of the chaos produced by the possibility, never mind the reality, of Britain actually quitting Europe. Jobs that are secure, suddenly insecure. Investment decisions postponed or cancelled. A pall of unpredictability hanging over the British economy. And for what? to satisfy the insistent Europhobia of a group who will never be satisfied. The rest of Europe will be vigorous in ensuring Britain gets no special treatment. This will be a horrible process. Don't be in any doubt about that. And I'm aghast at some of the arguments used as to why having such a vote is a great idea for democracy. Apparently we should have a referendum because it's 40 years since we last had a vote. I mean, that is seriously an argument for doing something of this magnitude and risk? A sort of keeping us on our toes sort of thing? I mean, should we do the same for NATO? Or have periodic referendums not just in Scotland, but all over the UK, just to check popular feeling? We should have a referendum if we seriously believe that getting out of Europe is a national priority if our terms aren't met. But if we don't, then I say it is a completely unacceptable gamble with our nation's future.